If you want cheap Microsoft points and game codes, check out g2a.com, link is in the description below.
Hey guys, it's Melvin70 and today I'm bringing you my BPL predictions Matchday 18 versus the Mr. AC. Now, in the last episode, he did very well. He picked himself up 13 points because he got a lot of the results correct, whereas I got 9 points. I got a couple of them right, but now he's 5 points ahead. He's on 42. I'm on 37, so I'm looking to build up, try and get back on level and try and beat him. And by the way, hopefully I've fixed the glare that you could see on previous episodes with my glasses. Hopefully that's completely fixed. You shouldn't be able to see that because I know when watching it can be annoying, so hopefully that is an improvement. Let me know in the comments if you're glad that that's gone. And yeah, anyway, let's just get straight into this. So the first game is Chelsea up against West Ham. This is going to be a very good game in my opinion. Both teams coming off a 2-0 victory. Obviously I'm doing this on Monday night, so Chelsea have just beaten Stoke at the Britannia 2-0, and it was a very solid performance. Matic put in a good shift. Fabregas got a goal and an assist. Costa did pretty well. I'm not sure if he scored. Don't think he did. It was Terry, wasn't it? Terry header. West Ham, convincing win against Leicester 2-0. You know, two sides that are evenly matched. West Ham are on a stunning run of form. And if you look at the next fixtures, which are 2 days after this, because obviously these are the Boxing Day fixtures, 2 days later, Chelsea play Southampton. So they're going to have to make a few adjustments to their squad. I don't think they'll be able to play the same 11 like they've done many times. So for me, they're going to drop points in one of these games. I could be wrong, but West Ham look more clinical and deadly. Even though it's at Stamford Bridge, I generally believe that Chelsea will beat Southampton, which is obviously next week. But I think they'll drop points to West Ham. I think it'll be a cracking game, and I'm going to predict 2-2. Bit controversial, but we'll see if I'm right or not. The next game is going to be Burnley up against Liverpool. Now, I'm a United supporter, but I've got to admit Liverpool put in their best performance of the season against Arsenal and were unlucky not to win. Whereas Burnley got beat 2-1 to Spurs, which isn't the worst result, but could be a little bit better, I suppose. Burnley are at home and they're pretty good at defending. They're just not very good at scoring recently. I mean, they obviously got that winning run where they beat Southampton, etc. So their confidence is a bit higher. Liverpool should take a lot of confidence from their performance. If they play with the pace of Markovic, Sterling, Coutinho, Lallana, etc., they're going to have a chance. But for me, Burnley are good at home and they're pretty solid. So I'm going to predict another surprise result. I'm going to say 1-0 to Burnley. I generally believe it could be a draw. Liverpool could win, could completely make a fool out of me, but I'm going to have to make some, you know, big decisions to try and overtake the Mr. AC as quickly as possible. I could fuck it up in the process, but we'll see. 1-0 Burnley is my prediction. The next game is Crystal Palace up against Southampton. Now, Crystal Palace got demolished 3-0 against City, but it didn't deserve to be that by any means. They played very well, and if they took the chances, potentially they could have even won, let alone drawn, but they could have easily drawn, but they didn't. Whereas Southampton, Jesus Christ, 3-0 against Everton on the back of a 5-loss streak. That is unbelievable. So credit to Southampton. Did very well against Everton. I was really surprised. I predicted Everton to win that one, but they didn't. Crystal Palace, though, will be looking to bounce back, and it's at home. This one's a very difficult result because if Crystal Palace are as wasteful as they were against City, then anything can happen. But if they're clinical, then they can win. But for me, Southampton are going to have a little too much. I'm going to predict 2-1 to Southampton. The next game, Everton against Stoke. Everton obviously lost heavily against Southampton. I was very surprised with that one. Couldn't believe it. And Stoke got beat 2-0 to Chelsea, which isn't the worst result. They played alright, I suppose. So for me, Everton are going to be looking to bounce back. Stoke are better at home than they are away. So this one, 2-0 Everton for me. I'm just going to say right out the bat, 2-0. Leicester versus Spurs is the next game. Spurs 2-1 against Burnley, obviously. Whereas Leicester, I'm trying to think what the hell their result was. I can't actually remember. If it comes back to me, they got beat 2-0 off West Ham. 2-0 off West Ham, so they were away, so they're bottom of the league. They need some points. Spurs on a high run of form, but they've got us the game after, so they'll probably rest some players. So for me, that is a big point. I reckon because of that, Spurs are going to drop points. I reckon that it's going to be a ball 0-0 draw, simply because of the fact Spurs play us 2 days later, and they're going to probably go for that more. It could backfire. They could go for the Leicester result more and then concentrate on that, getting the points off that, and then not us. But I'm going to be bold in my predictions. There's some surprises this week. So yeah, next game is my team, Manchester United, up against Newcastle. We had a very disappointing draw against Aston Villa. We should have won that, but Aston Villa were well worth a draw. They did deserve it. Newcastle, their confidence is going to be the lowest it's been in so long, getting battered off Arsenal, battered off Spurs, and then losing their derby 1-0. Bit unlucky in the derby, but they just weren't clinical. Both sides wasted chances, and it could have been 4-3. But, you know, it ended 1-0 to Sunderland, so their confidence is going to be shit low. We are great at home this season. Ever since the Swansea defeat on the opening day of the season, we're undefeated. So, for me, we're going to win this. We've got Di Maria coming back, potentially Fellaini and Herrera, because Fletcher was dreadful in that game. Hopefully, Luke Shaw might be back as well, so we might revert back to a 4 at the back formation if Luke Shaw does return. Smalling and Rojo may be back as well, so a lot of players coming back into the fold, which should help us. I did predict 3-0 to us against Villa, and obviously that backfired and it was 1-1. But I'm going to be bold in my prediction again, and I'm going to predict the highest score I've ever predicted for Manchester United so far. I'm going to say 4-0. Honestly, Falcao 2-2 starts, and then 2 assists before that. RVP, maybe they were getting in each other's way. Rooney seems to be adapting to the midfield role, and then Di Maria coming back into that. There's a lot of goals in the side, and Newcastle have John Anik in net, so if we can take advantage of that, then maybe we can. So I'm going to say 4-0. The next game, Sunderland against Hull. Very interesting game. Balanced sides. Hull losing 1-0 to Swansea. They didn't really show much in that game, whereas Sunderland beating their biggest rivals, Newcastle. They actually scored, which is a big problem. They've drew 10 this season, but if they didn't beat Newcastle, I would have said this is going to be a draw, but I think the confidence is going to be sky high. They're going to go out from the start and pressurise Hull. So for me, 1-0 to Sunderland. Next game, Swansea versus Villa. Now, Villa got a very convincing 1-1 draw against us, but away from home, I don't think their form is as good, but Benteke, credit to him, that was a fantastic goal against us. Swansea, on the other hand, beating, I just said it, Hull, wasn't it? 1-0. So they're going to be looking to extend that. Sorry, following some, disappointing results before that. So this one's difficult, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Swansea simply because they're at home. That's basically it. Next game, West Brom versus City. West Brom, they've been so iffy this season. They lost 3-2 to QPR. They threw it away. They were winning 2-0, and then QPR, Charlie Austin basically won it for them. So 3-2. City, on the other hand, their scoreline was very, very I'm forgetting the word. Basically, their scoreline didn't match their performance. It was very patronising. That's not the right word. Basically, it should have been about 1-0, but it was 3-0, so credit to City. They took their chances, but they're missing Aguero. You can see David Silva did very, very well, but they're still missing Aguero. Company in defence as well. Crystal Palace could have scored 3 as well, but they just weren't clinical. So, Man City are away. West Brom, maybe they'll start Berahino again. He got dropped, so I don't know. I'm going to predict yet another controversial result. I'm going to say 1-1. I generally believe there's going to be some interesting results. 4 games in 10 days for each and every BPL side. This is the best part of the season for me, apart from the end of the season. The next game, though, Arsenal versus QPR. Now, Arsenal very lucky to draw 2-2 with Liverpool, but they did it. That's the fact. They drew 2-2, so they got a point. They're still 5 points behind us, though, so they're going to want to close the gap. QPR, big high after Charlie Austin got his hat-trick. He's on lethal form, so he's going to be up for this game. We all know how Arsenal can bottle it in games. They were 3-0 down to Stoke within the first half. So, for me, QPR are unpredictable. They haven't picked up a single point away from home. So, I've predicted Arsenal to win and they've lost. I've predicted Arsenal to lose and they've won. I just can't get it right with Arsenal. No matter what I do, I'm going to get this wrong, I guarantee. So, this one's a very, very difficult one. But again, should I go with my instinct or should I go... You know what, I'm going to go with my instinct. I'm going to say 1-1. Again, another controversial result. If these results come true, this is a perfect Christmas for Manchester United because that means that every other team apart from my team has dropped points. So yes, it's very, I suppose you're going to call it biased, but if it turns out to be correct, maybe, you think I'm not, but I don't know. I'm just trying to predict some results to get points ahead of the mystery scene generally. Hopefully I've backed up my reasons. I don't know what you think about this, but yeah, I noticed that it is very biased at the minute, that I've predicted Man United to win and potentially every other contender to draw or lose. But we'll see what happens. Let's get into what the mystery scene predicted and we'll do it side by side. Alright, so looking at the predictions side by side, as I would have thought, because I'm trying to get back into it, the results are very, very different. Apart from Everton Stoke, which is the exact same score, I don't think there's many other results that are even the same result. I mean, he's got Man United to beat Newcastle, but only by 2. I think every other one, to be honest, looking at this, is different. Oh no, he's got Sunderland to beat Hull, but by a different scoreline. He's also got Swansea to beat Villa, but 2-0 again, so different scoreline. And the rest of them are completely different. So he's either going to go miles ahead of me, or I'm going to pull it back, and I suppose neither of us might be right. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get back into it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And yeah, hopefully I've enjoyed, and peace.